My name is Amirul Naim bin Yusof. You can call me Naim. I'm from campus Seremban 3. My student number is 2018407166. I'm from semester 5, class NSR 115A. Today, my friend and I will present about kayak.
My name is Azmira Shazwina binti Azmi. I am a sports science and recreation student from the ITM Seremban 3. My student ID is 2018426536. I am now currently a semester 5 student and my class group is NSR 11158.
Okay, first of all, we go to introduction to kayak. Kayak is a small, narrow watercraft which is typically propelled by means of a double blade pedal. The traditional kayak has a covered deck and one or more cockpits, each seating one paddler who strokes a double blade pedal. The cockpit is covered by a spade rack that keeps the inside of the boat dry and that prevents the entry of water from wave or spray, differentially the craft from a canoe. The spray deck or similar waterproof covering attached securely to the edge of the cockpit, preventing the entry of water from wave or spray and making it possible in some boats to roll the kayak, capsizing and righting the boat without it filling with water or ejecting the passenger. Some modern kayak eliminate cockpits, seating the paddler on top of the boat or replace paddles with others propulsion methods. Moreover, in some part of the world, such as the United Kingdom, kayaks are referred to as canoe or vice versa. Lastly, it was invented in first use by the native Ainu, Aleut, and Eskimo hunters in subarctic region of northeastern Asia, North America, and Greenland. So we go to the history of kayak. Originally developed by indigenous Arctic people who used the boat to hunt on inland lakes, rivers, and coastal water of the Arctic Ocean, North Atlantic, Bering Sea, and North Pacific Ocean. These first kayaks were constructed from stitched animal seal or other skins stretched over a wooden frame. Okay, here I have three types of kayak. First, Mendesta, second, Otter Spot, and lastly, Slalom. For the type of Mendesta is V-shape, speed and also difficult to control, suitable for competition, rivers and lakes. Second, we go to the type of Otter Spot, U-shape or flat bottom hole, very stable, receive abundant water resistant, suitable for long trips or expedition, and also suitable for rivers, lake, and the sea. Lastly, is also suitable for recreation. So we go to the slalom, type of slalom, O shape, curved hole, easy to control and fast but easy to reverse. Then it's suitable for training and show, rivers and lake, and last recreation. We go to the type 2 PFD. It's near shore buoyant vest. It's good chance for fast rescues, good for account and inland water. For the advantage, it's less bulky, more comfortable, and turn some unconscious wearers face up in water. For the disadvantages, may be uncomfortable wearing for extended period, will not turn as many people face up as a type 1 PFD will. In rough water, wearer's face may often be covered by wave, not for extended survival in rough water. For the size, infant, child small, child medium, and adult. Go to the type 3 PFD, flotation aid. Good for calm inland water and where is the good chance or fast rescue like type 2 PFD. So for the advantages, generally the most comfortable type for continuous wear, freedom of movement for water skiing, small boat sailing, fishing, and other than that. Available in many styles, including vests and flotation coats. Next, we go to the disadvantages. Not for rough water, wearer may have to tilt head back to avoid face down position in water. For the size, we have many individual size from child small through adult. Okay, for the type 4 PFD, it's called towable device. How come inland water with heavy boat traffic where help is always nearby? For the advantage, can be thrown to someone, good backup to wearable PFD. Some can be used as seat cushion. For unconscious person, not for non-swimmers or children, and also not for many hours in rough water. Type 5 hybrid inflatable device is required to be worn to be counted as a regulation PFD. So for the advantage, least bulky of all type, high flotation when inflate, good for continuous wear. For the disadvantages, may not adequately float some wearers unless partially inflate, require active use and care of inflation chamber. Last, for the performance level equal to either type 1, 2 or 3, that is performance as I said before for the previous video.
Demonstrating the forward stroke. One of the tips of the forward stroke is to actually think about placing a paddle in the water and actually moving past it, as opposed to placing a paddle in the water and pulling the blade through the water. This will enable you to get far more efficiency while on the water. The forward stroke is comprised of mainly three elements: the wind up, the catch phase, or the part where you place your blade in the water, and the unwind. You start off by winding your torso, placing the blade right about parallel to my foot, and unwinding my torso, getting good rotation. That's going to push me forward. The paddle comes out of the water when my right hand reaches my right hip. Just pops right out of the water, and you'll find that you're already wound up for the next catch. Linking them together, it looks just like this. I'm concentrating on rotating my torso. I'm winding up, placing the blade, and unwinding. This time, let's focus a little bit more about what the arms are doing. We can think of it as sort of a push with the upper hand and a pull with the lower hand. That will also encourage proper torso rotation. So it's a push with the top, pull on the bottom, while rotating the torso. Here's what it looks like when we put it together. The sweep stroke is a turning stroke that enables you to keep your forward momentum. It begins far in the front of the boat, sweeps way wide, and continues all the way until our paddle touches the stern of the back end of the kayak. That will enable us to turn our boat effectively, but continuing forward momentum. Decide to turn to the left, and I'll initiate reaching a little bit further. I'll sweep wide and continue that stroke all the way to the stern. Continue with my forward stroke on the left and sweep on the right. A nice, gradual, arcing turn without losing momentum. Now I'd like to share a few tips about turning strokes. The interesting thing about kayaks is that they don't turn from the front like a car. They turn far more effectively from the back of the boat. So, when you're beginning your turning stroke, your forward sweep, it's really important to place your paddle as far forward as you can. Get a nice lean. The most important, most effective part of that sweep stroke is that backward, about 20 or 30 degrees. That's the most effective part of the turning stroke. So don't forget to complete that stroke all the way until your paddle touches the stern of the kayak. Just like that. Now let's talk about a few strokes that will help you get your boat into position if you want to pull up next to a dock or another paddler. They're called draw strokes, and there are two basic draw strokes. The first is a simple reach out and pull towards you. There are a few tips with this stroke. Most importantly, if the paddle blade starts to get sucked underneath your boat and you pry on it, it will pull your boat down into the water. It's a good way to tip. So you want to pull your paddle out of the water before it gets too close to you. If it does get a little too close, whoops, just let it go and start over again. Again, that pry will put you in the water pretty quickly. The other draw stroke is called a sculling draw stroke. This one is a little bit more powerful and a little bit more effective. Requires just a little bit more technique. The technique, you can sort of think of it as spreading a little bit of peanut butter on your bread. Your paddle is going to move back and forth across the water, but always there's going to be a climbing angle to the paddle blade, like this. The reason for that is if you don't create a climbing blade angle, the blade will dive into the water. So it's going to be the same motion back and forth, but you're going to get the paddle blade more vertical. And now we can act and draw your kayak very powerfully and effectively in towards a jock or another paddler, which we'll show you in just a moment. Now I'll demonstrate a great use of the draw stroke. We'll use this sculling draw, bring ourselves right up next to another kayaker. Hey, Katie.
Hey, Brad.
The final stroke we'll go over today is how to get your kayak to come to a stop once you've got forward momentum. It's done simply by placing the paddle on one side of the boat and then the other, and you can actually back paddle as well. It's just simply a reverse of the forward stroke once you've got forward momentum. This is what it looks like. Decide I want to come to a stop, reverse, reverse, and a reverse. Again, utilizing that torso rotation, basically just a reverse of what we've done in the forward stroke.
Push. So I'm going to go in circles and keep the body wound up. Again, like a dog chasing your tail.
Okay, first as rescue technique. First of all, you need to pedal up to capsize kayak. You will want to move up so that your cockpit is right next to the bow of the kayak. Then you need to lift the bow end out of the water and turn the kayak up so that is right. You should make sure that the kayakers you are helping always hold on to his or her kayak. Otherwise, you may lose contact with the person you are trying to rescue. This will make it very hard to get them back into their kayak, and depending on where you are trying to perform the rescue, it could actually be very dangerous. Next, you should roll the kayak onto its side so that the water will drain out. If not enough of the water is draining, then you should roll it completely upside down so that it can drain completely. Then you should put the kayak back into the water and try to arrange it so that the stern of the empty kayak swing over close to the bow of your kayak. This is to make it easier for the person that you are helping to get back into the kayak. Next, the high rescue is not difficult to perform. First of all, both of the rescuing kayak need to move up near the capsized kayak. This process will involve picking the capsized kayak entirely out the water. Make sure that the person who had been paddling that kayak grab onto one of the rescuing kayak so that they are not spread from the group. Next, the two rescuing kayaks should move close to one another and place their paddles across between the two kayaks. This will perform an hitch-like formation. The capsized kayak is then lifted up between the two kayaks and held on the paddles. By rocking the kayak from side to side, you will able to get most, if not all, of the water out. Then you will be ready to put the kayak back in the water and help the other person get back into their kayak. And for the hitch rescue, they also need the two rescuing kayak, but the position of two kayak are not too close to another one. So as you can see in the picture here.
The advantages of learning safety tips before involved in kayak activity is to avoid any accidents to happen. Visualize if a person that never plays kayak before decides to finally participate in kayak. One day, they just rent a kayak and imagine if there's a storm coming. They will end up in a disaster situation, all because of not knowing the safety tips first, which is aware of the weather condition. Also, kayak is a really extreme and dangerous activity. Without seeking for professional help, you will just end up in another catastrophe. Knowing the safety tips on kayaking will help you know more about the activity, boost your knowledge, and avoid any bad incidents that might happen. It also helps you to avoid any injuries by learning on how to paddle the proper way. So, this far, we have learned the history of kayak, the types of kayak, prototypes of kayak and paddles, anatomy of each equipment in kayak, 5 types of PDF, rescue techniques, paddling techniques, signals in kayak, kayak formality, and the advantages of learning safety tips before involved in kayak activity. We have learned 10 things in this short video. So I hope that you guys gain more information about kayak. And that's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.